You are in a state of allowing. You are being conscious about your spiritual practice. You aren't doubting, you're trusting. You already got strength that not many have. You have the ability to see things before they come into fruition. The inner knowing is what guides you. You've realized since probably about early summertime 2022 that you were being guided. There's no coincidences anymore. It was truly divinely guided. You took a really tough situation that most people would have really allowed to destroy them. You took that experience and you faced your fears in some aspects with it. You knew that you were the creator of your life instantly. And you said, let me navigate this the way I am being led to. And it's been a pretty long journey since. You have learned a lot from falling back into the matrix, but always coming back to your spiritual aspect. You've got to be centered. But your faith it's always been there. The trusting in the universe, trusting that you are being led. This has been a long time manifestation, and it's coming. And you finally see the evidence, the physical evidence, which has allowed you to have more trust. This is a repeating message that I have been given from Spirit. I almost feel like I don't even know why I'm here giving the message, because you already know you're on the right path. You already know that you're never going to give up your spiritual journey. You're never going to give up your spiritual practice. You're always going to come back to you. You're always going to come back to source. Guess I'm just here to remind you, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing to be able to give this kind of message, because you're not doing anything wrong. You're following your intuition. You're feeling grateful, which is something that Spirit's always wanting you to be grateful, appreciative, being kind. You follow the principles. We call them the Reiki principles. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not get angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will be grateful for my many blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to my neighbor and every living thing. That is your motto. You have become those things. You're not having to work so hard to raise your vibrations. In the past, it's been sometimes you've felt really off, and you've had to really, the matrix pulled you back so much that you've really had to do the work to get back into that spiritual nature. But it's just been you learning more and more on how to master things in your life. When you've thought you've taken a few steps backwards, you've actually learned from those missteps. I don't want to say that you were going backwards. When you're able to be in the state of teaching regularly, you have all sorts of experiences of failure. So you can really zone in on several different ways of making something work. You know, we're always trying to improve on ways of doing things. And all of those times that you fell back into the matrix, you were just mastering even more and more, and just building that experience, that expertise. I feel like I'm talking to someone that already knows all of these things, and like, why am I here, you know? I feel your energy. It's very calm. Your mind is empty. Your heart is so full. Your heart is so full. You are so beautiful. Don't know how many of you are masculine and how many of you are feminine, but I feel your soul. It's just beautiful. You're going to change the world. You have so much compassion for life. And I'm saying not living on earth. I'm saying living creatures, life, love. Everything we see on our planet. You understand that it's important to spend time with the earth. You understand it's important to spend time being a better person, being able to help people see their own potential, helping your family and friends around you in whatever ways that they need. One of the reasons that this is all happening for you is because you stayed consistent. Even when the energy you were feeling still doubts, even though all of those things were part of your experience, you kept going. A lot of people listen to their ego mind and look at the reality of things, and they want instant results. They give up, and you didn't. You trusted the unknown, you trusted the unseen. Even though you couldn't feel the energy that your manifestation was here for all these months, all of those previous experiences of epiphanies and synchronicities gave you enough evidence, belief to know that you were being guided and to continue the process, to stay consistent. You didn't know how it was going to happen, and you had doubts. Like, your mind has gone through every single different scenario of how this plan of God's is going to come into fruition. And because of course God's plan is much better than yours. Not that you don't have good plans. They all resonate from God, but see, God sees things differently than we do. He's the all-seeing, and there's things that God keeps from us for the surprise. He sees all of the different obstacles that might come to exist in certain desires that we have. So there's different routes. He just goes ahead and he's like, no, you might have to go around something. You might have to, you might have to hit some bricks on the process, but in the long haul, it's going to be better for you. Every time that you've hit a block, you've known that. Every time that you just continued to trust in the past, it's always worked out even better than what you planned on in your head. And it's okay. We do this all the time. We always plan. We like to know our next step. We like to know what we're going to expect in the future. You're only human, and we always face those levels of doubts. So there are so many different thoughts that are like clouds in the air. They're always going to be there. A lot of us will take that thought and we'll spend too much time with it, to a negative thought, and we're always thinking in our imagination. Our true self is all about creating. Creating begins with the imagination. So when we are imagining, sometimes we can imagine bad things. Our ego always wants to control. The bad thing about our ego is it's not going to tell you to stop thinking bad thoughts. Our higher self. So we've got the ego. The ego's not necessarily the devil, but it's a selfish kind of personality. Our higher self is no judgment, guidance, things that are going to benefit our well-being. It's always looking out for your good. It's good for all, for our wholeness. And our higher self is all about connecting us to ourself, our God, and everything in it. That connection to everything in life because we're all connected, and that's what your higher self, that's what it strives for. Helping others is where you're going to get your highest fulfillment out of life. Your ego is selfish. It's out for your own needs. The whole purpose of life is to reach realization, awareness. Our ego literally comes from the unconscious. Higher self comes from the conscious. And the conscious is thinking about the way we feel about ourselves on how we treat others and the behaviors that can come from our thoughts. Our ego is, like I said, the selfish personality type that it works from a subconscious level. Even though we could think, okay, we identify with everything in our physical world, when we are only thinking about ourselves and we can, what I mean from being on a subconscious, non-conscious kind of personality, when we're thinking from an ego perspective, our ego is ruling things, we don't realize that we're allowing our thoughts to take control. So sometimes those thoughts turn into negative thoughts, and then we are judging ourselves, we're judging others. If we're not becoming aware of those thoughts, we produce more negative thoughts or more obsessive thoughts. Our ego, not our higher self, is overriding our mind and body. And then we're still working selfish state of mind, are only concerned with our thoughts and how the world and what things on the outside of our world are doing to us. And how the world can benefit us. But the higher self, what we can do with our own skill, we can benefit everybody and everything outside of us. So those are the two aspects. Is the ego works for the self and is concerned with the self, and the higher self is concerned about how they can benefit everything outside of them. But see, there's a difference, when you spend time with yourself, meditating, or any other spiritual practice, you have to spend time with yourself, detach from the world and relationships outside of you, and get completely empty and feel wholeness within yourself. And that phenomenon of being empty builds infinite amount of love that you can give out to the world. And that's where you benefit the most, is when you come from a place of total nothingness. And the reason I'm speaking of this is because you have put so much work in doing this regularly. You've mastered this skill, and you have conquered every single type of emotion that a human can experience. You've taken all your past memories, the trauma, everything that you've gone through, and you've taken it, you've let it pass through your body, and this is how much balance you have brought to yourself. You've allowed every single emotion to go through, and you've transformed it into love, understanding, acceptance. And it's like this whole thing, like things get transformed within you, like everything from the outside, because not very many people can do this, but you have. This is how the normal person, the typical human, does. All of these energies go out, and they get really mad and they react. Okay, and just they get really upset, and then it ruins their day, and then they get mad at someone. You, on the other hand, it's taken you a while to get here. But once you had that first mystical experience of being able to control your emotions and be so intelligent with the way you interact in your communication with others and the way you've just transformed all sorts of emotions, bad things happen. You've either just let them pass over you, or you just said, I've got to accept it. There's no way around it. It's going to have to come through me. I'm going to have to experience it. But you know that you've experienced some really uncomfortable phases in your life over the last couple of years, over your entire life. Everybody on that spiritual journey, they've had some ups, but then they've had some major downs. And it's because you've desired these kinds of tests to see how far, how committed you are to the path, and how you want to see how much you've learned. How much have I learned? How much have I really gained from having my trust in something that's higher than me? But that something that's higher than you is now in you. And that's why you're able to transform all of these emotions. So, like I said, what happens is these bad experiences that used to make you react, you take it in, just like breathing. That's how easy it is for you. That's how easy it is for you. You just, okay, just like breathing, you breathe it in, and it's just like an energy. You transform it. You say, okay, you're just gonna have to take it in, inhale it, and let it go. Anything else that comes in, okay. You've done this over and over and over again. And your consistency on being able to do that, you're able to tap into source so much easier. You are balancing your energy. I literally just had another message yesterday or the day before where you need that consistent spiritual practice in order to don't forget to keep your energy balanced. But it was like a broken record because I forgot who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to someone that is so much more powerful than the average person. You didn't just step on this path. And I think you've been on this path a lot longer than you realize. All of those bad experiences were all part of the spiritual journey. But you're able to transform that, and you're able to tap into source a lot more quicker because your energy, which energy is spirit. Energy is spirit. You hold that above everything else. So you know the instant that you feel off kilter, you know exactly what to do. You don't like that feeling. You've mastered the consciousness of knowing when your thoughts are becoming unconscious. You have literally mastered that skill. Okay, I'm not spending any time on thoughts that are not benefiting my soul or my current experience. You value being in the present moment so much. You value the knowledge and the wisdom that you've gained from your spiritual practice. And that's what's made you a master manifester, someone that's going to change the world. You're honing in on this skill. You are going to be able to teach other people how to do this. Know how hard it is for someone to change. How hard it took you to even wake up to these concepts. As you trust the process and the path and the journey with God, because God is within you. You're one of the very few. I don't even know how many have mastered in the way that you have. But you want other people, you want every living soul on the earth to know how to do this. Because these skills, the ability to do these things with your mind and body, have made so much peace and harmony within yourself and the relationships outside of you. You have so much love for every every living thing in the world. You want them to live this way. This is a way of life. This is the way to have heaven on earth. And I'm gonna just close this up because this is now I've already had to do 2 videos on this. It's so important to get this message out to you because doing what you're doing, that's the message. God wants you to know that he's gonna keep on reminding you because he loves you. Keep loving yourself, keep telling yourself how proud you are of yourself, and keep watching, keep living in this state of appreciation and gratitude, and really glad to be in this energy. Really, really glad that you're the one that's going to change the world.